The FBI has this morning released images of a suspect in the assassination of American right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. It comes as President Donald Trump announces he will posthumously award Kirk with the highest civilian honour in the US.
For more, we're joined by former White House staffer Laura Schwartz. Laura, the FBI has had a few suspects now, but they've finally released this photo. Do we know anything about their person of interest?
Not at this time. And in fact, they were supposed to have a press conference about 4 hours ago. And 4 hours and 1 minute ago, they said, you know what, it's not going to happen. We have some rapid developments happening. So everybody thought that, OK, maybe an hour goes by, we're going to hear something really big. Well, now a few hours have gone by. We don't know yet, but we have gotten news that Kash Patel, Trump's handpicked director of the FBI, is flying out to Utah as he wants to personally oversee the investigation. The FBI is taking the lead on this. They obviously need the public's help. And what's interesting, too, is that they have this picture supposedly from the suspected gunman walking up a set of stairs before the shooting. So if anybody recognizes him or maybe has him in the background of a video that they were taking completely unrelated, looking back, it may help take them to the next level. They've been canvassing a few different neighborhoods around the university area, but we don't have any specifics that have been announced yet.
Well, meantime, President Donald Trump has said he will posthumously award Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. What's been the reaction to that news in America?
Well, Sylvia, the Trump administration and Trump and his inner circle in the West Wing is taking this very hard. Charlie Kirk was a staple there. He wasn't on staff, but he was there often, including swearing-in ceremonies for cabinet members. He knew everybody by name. And Charlie Kirk was close, almost as a family member to the Trump family. To put it into context, Charlie Kirk, years ago said, listen, the Democrats are taking college kids on campuses for granted. He grew up in a conservative household, and he thought he could do something about this. So he started, holding these debate-like structures on campuses and starting to motivate the youth for conservatives. And then he became really a powerful leader in the MAGA movement and really accounts for that Gen Z, especially the male of the Gen Z generation, moving over to Trump in such droves as we saw last fall. So he was in the room. It wasn't that big of a campaign in 24 as far as like the infrastructure, and he was always getting a seat at the table. So I'm not surprised that he announced that today.
Yeah, and these sort of things that unfortunately he was assassinated at yesterday, these sort of big debates he would have, open-air debates at campuses. He's been doing this for years. It was, sometimes he takes very, very controversial stands. But what does this assassination tell you about what's happening in America with political polarization? It feels like you're at a tipping point.
You're right, David. It's really dehumanizing, and it's weaponizing just the product of conversation. You didn't have to agree with Charlie Kirk, but you could absolutely say that he was doing it the right way. To say, hey, prove me wrong. I'll show up for a conversation face to face. I'm not just going to, tweet out something from my basement. I'm going to show up, share with you how I feel, and I want to hear how you feel. There is a piece of America that can disagree without being disagreeable, but we have absolutely lost that. And even though we see today a lot of politicians and a lot of community leaders and individuals coming together and saying we need to quiet this discourse and get back to real debate, the kind that Charlie Kirk showed us can be done, whether you agree or not. But the problem is, David, I wonder, are we too far down that rabbit hole? Are we too far down the line to pull people back? And I think really looking to leaders over the next days and weeks and months is going to determine maybe the cue that others take from it.
Well, gun control, of course, is going to be one of the topics that's up for discussion. A lot of people in the last 24 hours have been sharing the clip of Charlie Kirk in reference to school shootings and others, saying that it's worth it to protect, that some gun deaths are worth it to protect America's right to arms. The US now facing yet another reckoning on gun control. What do you see playing out here? Do you think anything will change?
Just yesterday, the same day that this happened, there was a school shooting in Colorado. And the shooter took his life, and there's critically injured. And yet we weren't talking about that as much. And Charlie Kirk was a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. Right to bear arms. And he spoke about it in a very graphic way that you just mentioned. It's on his Instagram page. I saw it as well. Some find it disturbing. But I just, it's such a powerful gun lobby. And here we are, you know, in this moment of discourse and vitriol, that we're awash with guns right now. So it really does take the level up another notch. July 3rd, Donald Trump said, "We hate you," referring to the Democrats. And then J.D. Vance a few days later said, "They hate us." And even Tim Walz, who ran as the vice president on the ticket with Kamala Harris, really made a bad joke pertaining to whether or not Trump would die. So all of these things, none of them are good. None of them are good, especially in the background of a nation where we see a shooting happening and occurring every time you turn on TV. So I really hope that at this moment, when people are shaken up, a lot of members of Congress, the Republicans that vote against gun legislation for reform, knew Charlie personally. So will that make a difference? Could that be part of the legacy? Could sound debate, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, could be part of the legacy of Charlie Kirk? Could just common sense gun reform be a legacy of this moment? I hope that he doesn't die in vain. I hope that this is a wake-up call, but it just never should have happened, and it's absolutely inexcusable.
Yeah, he's just another statistic now of gun violence in America, and including in front of his wife who was there, and his kids were present too. It's just so sad. You're right, those words were really, really powerful, Laura. Just quickly, before we let you go, all of this is happening. All of this is happening in the sort of wake as well of this Trump controversy over Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book, which started this week in America with all this stuff coming up. There's the signature, the debate whether it's his or not, the alleged signature. He's suing the Wall Street Journal. Now there's more things coming out. What do you make of all of this stuff? What is the feeling on the ground there about the Epstein book?
The feeling is it's not going away. And because it's drip, 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 it's even worse for Donald Trump. And so with the victims coming out and having a press conference, which was powerful, with Donald Trump dismissing this as a Democratic hoax, it's undeniable. And when you look at that birthday, that page from the birthday book that Donald Trump, a real raunchy message to his then friend, Jeffrey Epstein, really raunchy. People are saying, even though he still denies it and his signature's there, handwriting experts, of course, are poring over this in America, and they're comparing his 2000 signature, when I guess he had a little bit more trail on the D of Donald, to what they see in this birthday book. So that came out earlier in the week. He's still upholding the fact that he's suing the Wall Street Journal, as you mentioned, David, for like $10 billion. He's going to continue to do that. And then just today, about 18,000 emails were released from Jeffrey Epstein, and many of them between he and Ghislaine Maxwell, which is showing that they tried to discredit young women, how they made this all work. So you can imagine Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced for a reason. All of this was shown to the jury, and she was found guilty. Of course, now, you know, she is, instead of a real prison, is in like a prison camp in Texas after meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. As these emails come out, I think we'll find out more. Again, a drip, drip, drip is not what you want as a politician. You want to take this head on and put it away. One of the emails that everybody's looking into, there was an email of which it looked like maybe Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were compiling some sort of mystery list of politicians and leaders and economists, whatever, you know, like big CEOs. And there was one email that Epstein sent to Ghislaine that Bloomberg News revealed, and it just simply said, "Remove Trump." And that was a few months after his first conviction. So people are trying to now piece that together, because that's what the media is left to do, to try to figure this out.
Laura, it has been a huge and in many ways a tragic week in American politics. We always appreciate your insights. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
See you soon.